Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com, and in today's episode of the 10-Minute Gardener we're going to talk about the top of things you can get on with in November in your garden. If you don't already subscribe to us at Learn How to Garden, there's a link directly below this film. Click on that, input your email address, and we can let you know every single time we put up a new film, and we also give you access to our free monthly newsletters. November is often the wettest and also one of the windiest months we get, but there's still lots and lots to do. The ground itself is still quite warm, so if you're going to plant fruit, and behind us is part of our fruit garden from last year, it's a great time to get your fruit ordered and get it into the ground. It'll give it the best chance of getting roots down before the really cold weather. And growing fruit is something that I think we should all do. This autumn raspberry here is a fantastic reason that we really should all be growing it, not flowing it. Grown, not flown. To be able to pick fresh raspberries in the autumn is fantastic. It's also the time of year, if you haven't already done it, to prune your red currants, white currants, black currants. So a lot of things to do with the fruit you want to do now. If you are growing any of your apples as espaliers, now's a great time to tie them in before the leaves fall. We're getting a lot of leaves falling at the moment, and one of our really important jobs is to collect those leaves to make leaf mould. If you are a no-dig gardener, you actually don't even have to wait for them to create leaf mould. You can incorporate them into one of the layers if you're creating any no-dig beds. And now is a really great time to create new growing beds in your vegetable garden. If you're growing brassicas of any sort, this is massively important. You're going to have to net them. As the weather gets colder, as food gets scarce, pigeons will devastate your brassicas. This is some kale, some Mizuna Japanese greens that is growing in a small no-dig bed. If this wasn't netted, they could clear this bed quite easily in an hour. You're going to have to net it. As I say, even 3 feet tall Brussels sprouts, they will strip so quickly when the weather gets colder. So you need to net all of your brassicas. As you can see, the oca that we grow, this is a quite unusual South American tuber related to potatoes, but none of the problems you get with blight, has done fantastically well. Don't be tempted to crop this yet. You want to leave this as long as possible, even if it means covering it with a fleece if we get a really bad frost. We want to see the tops of this blackened. If we can leave it till the end of November, it will double the amount of crop that you'll get out of it. So if you are growing oca, leave it alone, let it get till the end of November. If you're new to veg gardening, I would really recommend no dig as a method to go, and there are lots of films Learn How to Garden on no dig. But there are times you want to dig, and if you're going to dig, one of the things I would suggest is you get a decent spade. And what's really important about your spade is the length of the handle. You want a handle so that it more or less comes up to your hip, so that when you're digging, you've got all of that handle to play with. So get a spade, find a spade that has a long enough handle for you. Most spades come with shorter handles because they're shorter so they can pack them in the crates easily, not long enough to make it less stress on your back. No matter what method you're using, because we don't want the rain to wash away those nutrients, mulch your beds. That means put well-rotted manure, seaweed if you've got it, cardboard if it's the only thing you can get your hands on. You can even cover them with plastic to stop the rain battering those beds. The other thing you can do at this time of the year is create what's called a bean trench, and this is what gardeners used to do years ago, which is you dig out a trench a couple of spits deep and you just use all the kitchen scraps or old wool jumpers to fill that trench between now and next summer when we'll be planting our beans. It's a method that means you get lots and lots of goodness rotting down in one place, and beans benefit more than anything else from that sort of processing. And while we're talking about beans, you can plant 2 or 3 things even in this month. Broad beans, fantastic. Get them in, they'll get less problems with black fly next year, and also you can eat the bean tops stir fried when there's very little else in the garden next summer, and they're really tasty. Aqua Dulce is my favourite. Also the Sutton is great. It's a much shorter bean. If you have problems with wind, like obviously I do, the Sutton is a really good choice. Garlic can still go in now, and remember what I said last month, don't break the garlic up into individual cloves more than 24 hours before you're going to plant it. And you can also plant peas still. We plant our sweet peas at this time of the year, and peas, as long as they're the round seeded ones, not the wrinkly seeded ones, will quite happily go through the winter. I don't plant mine directly into the ground. I have real trouble with mice where I am. One of the old gardener's tricks was to actually put a layer of sawdust on top of the peas, and that does work, but I start all of my peas off root trainers. Probably your most important job this month is to make sure you've got all your seed catalogues so you can go through them and decide on what you're growing next year, what varieties, what's worked for you this year, what hasn't worked for you. And if you looked at last year's What to Do in November on YouTube, you'll actually see that I spent quite a bit of time talking about which catalogues I really like and I promote and think are really good to buy from, and the reasons that I choose to use them. Potatoes, order early. Some of your favourite varieties will sell out. I'm now down to growing 5 varieties. I grow BF15 as an early. I am incredibly impressed with Mayan Gold and Harlequin, which were both new to me this year, and I'll be growing both of those again next year. I'd say certainly Mayan Gold is probably my favourite potato at the moment. Mr. Little's Yaltom Gypsy for that really old-fashioned potato taste, and Violette, which is an old French variety. If you've got a greenhouse or a polytunnel that's empty, remember you still can grow salads throughout the winter, and I'll be showing you a couple of very quick and easy tricks to use in the subscribers newsletter. And I'll also be talking about this. I've been asked by the cameraman to say, what is this? Well, I'm not prepared to tell you. That's in my subscribers newsletter, but I'm talking about tools, and coming up to Christmas, why getting the right tools and getting the people who are likely to buy you Christmas presents or tools to get you the right ones is really, really important. So remember, there's still lots to do in November. Most of it's about preparation, so you get a fantastic harvest next year. Thanks a lot for watching Learn How to Garden.